Oh my gosh. Weird. We'll have to do
Yes.
people live.
Yes. Let me see if you put my glasses on.
Wow.
Comments from
What is the one that I'm drinking?
comments on the Facebook Live post appear on B. Okay. All right. All right. No.
Thank you.
Do we have people coming on? Let me see.
Let's see.
Let's see if the folks.
Mm-hmm.
I think Noah said he was coming on.
Cool. Oh, yes. We're live.
Yes, we live. As my friend Nina Moore says, we're live. We
We're
live.
I love it.
You won't mind.
I don't think so.
Let's see if some people.
I lost her though. Let's see.
I see it. There's people on.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh, okay. We're a little bit behind. Yay! I'm not getting my comments up. I don't see my comments, but let me get off of it. Yay, my best friend is on here. Go, best friend. That's my best friend.
Oh, nice.
My
Shout
best
out to the best friends.
Margarita. Yes, I was playing the little Prince.
Okay. Yes.
Yes, because you know the purple one is yeah. You know, it's been what, 4 years since he's passed away?
Yeah. I remember exactly where I was too.
Yeah, where were you?
I was in San Diego, on the highway with my mother on the way to get a gown. Because I was singing Suzuki
Mm-hmm.
or Madame Butterfly.
Talking.
Yes. San Diego Opera with our girl Latanya Moore.
Yes.
And
live from Houston.
Yes. She is. But yeah, I will never forget that moment. My mom and I had to pull over and just let it out. That was a rough one.
Yeah. I mean, so many of us grew up, you know, listening to Prince and the sound. I mean, my aunt and my uncle are gigantic Prince fans. So when we were kids, we used to listen to like Darling Nikki and know all the words, all those songs. And we would sing the songs. And now I'm thinking now as a like grown up, I'm like, oh my God, I can't even believe they let us, you know, listen to that stuff.
That's, you know, parents didn't even care.
Okay. I think about all of the rap that I used to listen to in the 90s, and my parents were like, just close the door, you know. But you know, anyway. So how was your day today, girl?
My day was good. It's been interesting actually. And those who follow me on Instagram probably have seen that I put out an announcement because there is an Instagram troller that has been trolling me all day. And I'm just like, really? What? As if we're not going through enough, you know?
Exactly.
So I've kind of been dealing with that all day because she's been creating new, what do you call them? Like profiles, Instagram names. And commenting under my pictures and tagging people. That's how I first found out. Is she tagged a friend of mine? And they said, girl, what's going on? So, of course, I blocked that name, and then she's creating all these other names, and it's been a hot mess.
Well, that's what happens when you're a superstar, honey. The Beyonce of opera.
Oh my gosh! I can't even imagine. So that's been the majority of my day, but you know, it's not the first time. It probably won't be the last, unfortunately. And all you can do is pray for these people that are unstable. But yeah, I went to the park. I'm in Houston right now.
Okay.
So
H-Town.
Yeah, H-Town. And it's nice here. The weather has been so nice. Not to rub it in people's faces, but
Right. No.
it's been nice to go outside and have some sun and fresh air while maintaining social distancing.
Yes. I was gonna ask you that. Like, how are people handling it down there in all of the
Yeah, I mean,
it's nice and it's social, you don't have to social distance.
yeah, well, it's actually kind of worrying because I don't think people are necessarily taking it as seriously as they should. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it might be because there's so much space. It
Right.
doesn't seem as real, but it is very real.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, they've shut down retail stores and everything, but they're talking about opening certain places up, like nail salons,
Right.
massage parlors, and bowling alleys. I'm like, I don't understand why.
Yeah. Wow.
It makes zero sense. So,
Right. I mean, listen, my nails are like it took me like 3 weeks to get those, I get the dip
oh
powder.
my gosh, how did you get that off,
I was eating them off. Eating them
girl?
off, girl, trying to, and they were my nails, so I got the dip, so they were kind of long.
Oh
I
yeah,
have grown them out, but I'm in no rush to go and
right.
sit in anybody's chair,
No, like,
you know, get
mm-mm.
my
I need us to just survive, you know?
absolutely.
So,
Anyway, but
how have
it's so
you
good.
been?
Me, I've been good. It's been interesting because we go from like never being home to all of a sudden being home and like being home every day and how every day rolls into the next for us and there's nothing to really prepare for because of so many cancellations and we'll talk a little bit about that and a little
Yeah.
bit about for you and I know it was a couple real big ones you had your heart set on, but that's okay, we'll talk about those. But yeah, it's been good. I mean, my cats are sick of me, as I say. I posted
I
the
love
video on
that
my
post.
Instagram.
I love it. I want to meet them one day.
You have to come when you come to Philly. You can
Yes.
vacation, or if we happen to be in the same. You have to come
Mhm.
here. I'm home too. We can, do our sister chat and cook a nice dinner and have some drinks and
Lovely. We need
enjoy
that.
it. We do. It's been too long. It's been way too
Mhm.
long. But I'm good. Robbie's good, and
Good.
everybody's home, and it's nice to be home. But I hate cooking. I'm over it.
My gosh. It's a lot. I
Yeah.
have new appreciation for people that cook and clean
Yes.
um,
Yeah.
for the majority of their day because it's a lot. It is a full-time job.
For real, for
You
real. I
know?
told I lost my mother years ago. But I
Yeah.
told my mother-in-law, I said, please, I bow down to all of the women that took care of a whole.
Absolutely. And I think of my mother who had 4 kids and a husband and a full-time job, and I'm just like, how did you? And she made it look so easy. And I'm like,
Easy.
I'm just trying to cook for myself.
Right, exactly.
Um,
They did it flawlessly. Shout out
tired
to
of
them.
eating. I really enjoy eating out, so
Yeah, yeah.
it's
And you get used to it, right? On the road. Yeah.
exactly. But
Yeah.
I mean, on the contrary, I've been saving money. So
Yes, that's true. Cheers to that. Come on.
yes,
Salud. Cheers to saving money. All right, so we have some people. I'm a little bit ahead. We're a little bit ahead of the Facebook page.
okay.
As everybody should know, this is kind of sort of my debut ever of doing a live. And I had this idea that I wanted to connect with people and not necessarily singing wise, because everybody's been killing it with all of the videos and killing it with, all of the putting their gifts out there because they just got to get it out. We all understand how that works. And so I just wanted to kind of do something a little different and like connect with people in a different way and to present my fellow friends who are artists, so that people can get to know us in a different light besides our gift, our one of our gifts, because we all have multiple.
Yes. Yes.
You know, we have multiple gifts, and I'm a deep believer of that. And these are the moments that make us push to, you know, not rest on the gift that we're the most comfortable with. So, like, you know what I mean? So all day I was like, oh my God, I gotta do this thing. And when I called you like 2 weeks ago.
What's that?
I called you like 2 weeks ago or something, or texted
Yeah,
you.
and you said I have this idea. I'm interested in doing this. Would you be interested? I said, absolutely. It's like it's brilliant. And speaking of gifts, like this is one of your gifts. You know, you have such a way of connecting with people, and everybody loves Kiki. Like you just have that amazing energy about you. So I think, you know, you could be the Oprah of opera.
Yes, ma'am. I'm claiming it. Who else wants to come? Who else wants to come? Okay, we got to do this one first. We got to kill this one first. Yeah. Okay, beautiful. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started, and yeah, how yeah.
Well, so I've been singing like my whole life, basically. I feel like most of us have. I got started in the church. So I was like 4 or 5 singing in the church choir, and grew up singing in the church choir. Went from children's chorus to the young people, the youth chorus, to the kind of like young adult chorus. And so music was always there. Plus, also my parents, well, my mother's from Baltimore, and my father's from Georgia. Yeah. So they're just from places that are really kind of filled with music. I grew up every morning, my parents playing Motown. That was like very big in my house.
Yes.
Motown and the sounds of Philly.
Yes. Gamble and Huff. Yes. Frankie Beverly 215.
Yes. Oh my gosh. My mom's probably like screaming right now. So that side of music was always in my life. And the classical voice didn't come till much later. But long story short, there was a piano left in the house that my parents moved into. And so when I was really young, I just started banging on the piano. And my mom and dad, they were like, she's really loving this piano. And so the owner of the house before, he came by and said, okay, I want to pick up my piano. And my parents were like, sorry, it's been 3 years.
Right.
You're going to pay us for storing this piano, or you're going to give it to us. So he did that. He left it, gave it to my parents, and they put me in piano lessons. So I played piano, and like I started with piano classically. And so classical was like always in my ear, classical music, but not voice. Voice didn't come till much later. I was a junior in high school. I was in the high school choir.
Yeah.
You know, those choir days, all state, and I was kind of late to the game. I just wanted to explore, you know, the music side of my, the vocal side to music. So yeah, I joined the choir, and then I just like I fell in love with classical voice, and I started to study privately, and it just kind of took over my world. There was some drama. Seems like drama has like been a theme in my life, but yeah, I'm like, what am I doing wrong?
Right.
But I don't think I am. I'm just, you know, it's life. So I was an athlete. I was a basketball player.
Yeah.
And that was a big part of my life. I thought I was going to go to college and play and everything. And this music thing just like really kind of took hold of me. And so, another long story short, I had a basketball coach, you know, that was basically making me choose between music and basketball.
Right.
So I was in my first opera at Tacoma Opera, very small theater. I was in the chorus of Tosca, which is a role that you slay.
Yes. Listen, the clips are up. Opera Birmingham.
Oh, really?
And Hunter, yeah, they post some clips up. So once we do this tomorrow, I think I'll like push it tomorrow. But
Please do that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow. I'm just like thinking of your voice in that role. Amazing. So I was in the chorus of Tosca, and at the same time as like a state basketball championship thing. It wasn't state, it was some other very important game. And so I asked my coach if I could sing the rehearsal and have my mom drive me up to the game.
Right.
And he said, yes, as long as you're just there before warm up and you warm up and you're ready to play. And so we got there, I warmed up, or no, I didn't warm up. I suited up into my gear and he sat me down on the bench and said, you're not playing. And I said, what are you talking about? And basically he said that I chose this singing thing over my teammates and that he was teaching me a lesson. And he couldn't guarantee that he was going to play me for the rest of the season. So I said to him, I can guarantee you that I'm leaving. So,
Right.
so the last day of my competitive, sports career. And singing just really took over. I decided on a whim, very last minute, to apply to conservatories. And I ended up going to Manhattan School of Music.
Yes, MSM. Yeah, so many of our friends.
In New York. And I did my undergrad there. So I was there for 4 years. And then I went to Curtis in Philadelphia. And that's where I first met you.
That's right.
Because you are also a Curtis alum, and I was hearing about you, and I knew about you. And I was just like, oh my gosh, when I first saw you, I was like, that's Karen Slack.
Oh my God. You were so shy.
I was very shy.
You were so shy. I was like, she's not even like, come and give me a hug, girl.
I was really shy because the singing thing was still kind of new, and I saw you and I was just like, oh my gosh, this woman's like here. I don't know what to say. But I just remember you still have that same warm spirit. And I think you were coming there to probably practice or coach or rehearse, but you also used to like mentor.
Yeah.
So you've always just been like such a beam of light and involved. Like you're such a selfless artist.
Oh, thank you.
Very amazing and I think helpful for like life.
Well, I thank you. I appreciate that. I get so embarrassed sometimes when you say that. You've said that to me multiple times, before in the past, and I always try to just be some of the things that I wish that I had. I've been very lucky, very, very, very lucky, and had a lot of wonderful teachers and coaches and so many people. But I always not always. The people who came before me, always close to me like that, maybe one or two, but so I always vowed to try to be that thing that I always wished that I had
That's
other singers, and as I told you, I love singers. I mean, we're a complicated being, but I love the creatures that we are, and I'm so happy.
Well, it shows. I mean, I literally, when I think of my times in school and like development, like you always cross my mind. And those moments that we might even not necessarily know that we're affecting someone, but we are, which is why I think it's so important to always, carry yourself with dignity and grace. And also, like be encouraging to younger people.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, whatever they like, the blueprint, well, not the blueprint, the fingerprints, right? That we put on other people lasts with them always. And that's why, the good and the bad, right? The bad teachers you had or the bad coaches and people that said negative things, it stays with you. It's a part of the, becomes a part. And so, and our paths cross in this business. That's the thing. It's like tiny. And at the end, it goes like this, right? Tinier and tinier and tinier.
Yeah. It is important. In this career, it's not all rainbows and flowers and everything. So obviously, like there are frustrating moments, but what I've learned is just to like breathe, first of all, and not react right away. I think that's just a good life lesson too.
Right. Oh, you are good at that, because
I'll
I remember you are, because when we were in Vancouver doing Damn and Walking,
yes. Oh
it was
my
like the second time we sang together, because we did Mahler
too. Oh my gosh, yes.
Yes, we did Mahler 2 together. And that role is just it's long, you never leave the stage, it's emotional, all those things. And just to watch you, I was so like proud of you, because I think you might have been like my 5th or 6th Ellen at that time, by that time. But just to watch you with such grace and poise, and when the moments when the music and the emotion, and you just rode that, you were just right up under it the whole time, and so many words and just such a big role. And mezzos are not used to singing
those big roles. Yeah, it's true.
Those big gigantic roles. So you can just talk a little bit about that, about Damn and
Yeah,
Walking.
well,
was that your first like big role? Like
what year was it? Do you remember? Was it
16?
No, it was
18, something like that.
No, I think it was actually 16. But that was probably like I'd sung Carmen before in a smaller theater in New York, but as a professional, no longer a student, that was my first substantial role. And it was definitely a big undertaking. And I think that I came directly from somewhere else. I came from Europe. So I was dealing with jet lag.
Right.
Well, and I learned the role on the road. While performing. Yeah, I was in Munich doing Andrea Chenier, a small role.
Yeah.
And so I learned the role on the road with a German coach, which was interesting. But it, to do. Yeah.
Oh, Dead Man Walking, for everybody that doesn't know, it's an opera in English written by Jake Hagee, a fantastic friend and American composer.
Yes. And you sung that role so many times of Sister Rose.
Yeah, Rose.
Sister Rose. But yeah, so that it was kind of an intimidating experience at first. She doesn't sit down. Even when she's not singing, she is on stage.
Right.
And so that was the first role of its kind that I'd experienced professionally. And it was intimidating, but honestly, like that cast was so supportive. I felt like we got really lucky with the conductor, Maestro Darwin.
Oh, he was amazing.
Oh my gosh. He was like, it's okay. But really, and I'm not just saying this because we're having Kiki combo. But you literally were like my backbone in that production, because I wasn't as prepared as I should have been initially, because I had so much going on coming off that gig. And I was late for rehearsals. I think it was like 8 days late or something.
Oh yeah, right. Okay.
I was late, so I was already in my head about that. Like, oh my gosh, I'm late. I don't like to be late, but this is just how it plays out sometimes. And so I just remember those first few rehearsals, I was missing cues and missing entrances and forgetting words. And you were just like, it's okay. You got this. Like, we have time. You know it. Take your time. And that really helped me,
Yeah.
And it's not always the case. Like, you don't always get fortunate enough to have supportive colleagues.
True. That's true.
Because I've had the opposite as well.
Right.
But
yeah. Listen, my saying is they don't pay for that part. They pay for the end, for the stage, for the final. And rehearsal is for rehearsing, making mistakes.
Wow. Oh. That's another one of your gems that I need to write down.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, but you definitely, like, I'm sure you told me something along those lines, and it definitely helped me tremendously. And it ended up being really great. But I have a lot of respect for you, sopranos, and leading ladies, because carrying a show is not easy.
No, it's not easy.
It is not in any way. And I mean, but you come out stronger.
Absolutely.
And honestly, after that role, I was like, okay, I think I can do this. Like,
Yeah.
I'm saying to myself,
Oh, yeah.
I can do this.
Oh yeah, you held that show beautifully. I mean, there was no doubt. I had no doubt that you, and I want you, and I always tell you, please sing high stuff more.
I know, yes.
I'm always like, damn it.
I know.
I know.
Hello.
I want to hear Componies. Can we do Ariadne? Hello world. Can we do Ariadne, please?
Oh my gosh, I would love that.
You would kill.
Yeah, I mean, I'm into that. So yeah, that definitely taught me a lot. And then remember Sister Helen came?
She did, yeah. And you were the first African American.
Yes.
Let's not let that go. You were the first African. Let's cheers. Let's cheers to that.
Oh.
Let's cheers to that, girl. Yes, cheers. First.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. So you were the African American Sister Helen, and I remember Jake being very, very, very happy about that.
Yeah.
I think
he was very supportive of that. And I remember there was a panel discussion and somebody asked Sister Helen about that. And she was like, that's a ridiculous question. Like she answered it because I think the question was like, what do you think about having an African American play you when this is based off of, like historically accurate times or whatever? And she was like, this is opera. That's a ridiculous question.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you, Sister Helen.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Thank you. Somebody, who does.
Yeah. And I mean, also just going into that topic, it's like opera is a beautiful art form, but it's theater. And so we have the ability to transform into these characters. It's not the same as film.
Right.
In my opinion, the voice comes first.
Yes.
And so it really shouldn't matter what you look like.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And so I think I hope that the age of trying to put people visually into the role is coming to an end because it's just wrong.
Yeah, it is. And it's limiting because people don't get to fulfill their full potential. When you, particularly in the theater, in the musical theater, the singing, the operatic stages, so much talent gets lost for a multitude of reasons, but so many people never get to do the roles that they should do because of, as Miss Norman talks about, the pigeonholes and the boxes. And so what I'm hoping is, with this particular, the climate that we're in now, which, we can't hug each other and touch each other. The whole game is different, right? It's everything's changed.
The whole thing has changed.
Yes, the whole thing has changed. So I'm hoping that, these boxes and these limitations and things just fall. That's why I love like people like Julia Bullock, who gets the opportunity to create. And you got to work with Julia in San Francisco, and I worked with her this summer. She is like, she gets to create and curate these things, and it's just like, I'm jealous. I get jealous.
She's everything that we all want to be. I admire her so much, and we've had many conversations about how we've just been pigeonholed, and there's no reason for it, And even for me, like personally, people hear my voice, they hear the color, and they think, oh, Carmen, Delilah, Amneris, like, which is fine, but I can also sing high and like also sing jazz. And like you said, this is the time now where I think that we have the freedom to really create and make this what we want it to be, because opera houses need us.
Yes. They certainly do. Yeah, you don't have opera without singers.
Exactly.
It's called symphony. Hello. Right. So talk a little bit about your jazz. It's something.
Oh my God.
Care about this jazz.
Yeah. Okay. So I have always loved jazz, and I feel like whenever I sing jazz or my version of jazz, I just feel so free in a way that I'm trying to get singing classically. And I think it's definitely possible. But I have so many jazz musician friends, and it started when I was a student at Manhattan School of Music. The jazz department there is amazing. And I always found myself going to their concerts and recitals and hanging out with them because there was just this sense of freedom.
Yeah.
And obviously our art forms, they just require different things. But I really appreciate the way in which they operate and they make music. So I just want to delve into that. Speaking of going back to you talking about this is a time where we can find our other creative devices, creative voices. I just feel like I really want to delve more into that. And I also want to do it with my voice, obviously, but I listen to Ella all the time and Diane Reeves and Cecile McLaurin-Savant, and I love them so much. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, how do they do that?
Yes.
But I want to sing with my voice, And just like we do classically, we listen to the greats, we study, but we have our own instrument and our own gift.
Yes.
To do it the way in which our bodies and our souls tell the story. So I just want to delve more into that, and I have some really close friends, Wycliffe Gordon. I'm actually, we've done some concerts together, but he's a world-renowned trombonist and arranger, composer, everything. So we're doing a Q&A tomorrow on Instagram. But
I saw that. Yeah.
It's really cool. But he has offered to just like help me find my sound. And so Damien Sneed, you know Damien.
Of course, yes. I met Damien, I knew of him, and I just got a chance to meet him.
Nice.
Very briefly, he came to Philly to do his tour that he was doing during
yes. Freedom Singing.
Yes. It was fabulous. My husband Robbie loved it. It was fabulous. Nice. Norman was with us actually. Crazy Norman Garrett. So we got a party time on our.
Cool.
But Damien is phenomenal. I hope I get to work with him someday.
Yeah. I'm sure you will. He's phenomenal. But he plays and sings in every genre, and that's just I admire people that do that because they give themselves freedom, to just be and not be boxed in. And I think that once we start doing that, we'll stop running into these walls. People often ask me like, how did you get this role and this role and this role? And it's literally because like before I even sang a note, I envisioned it. Like I told myself, I was like, I'm going to sing on that stage one day and I'm going to sing this role. And we literally have to, it's manifesting our destinies is like more than half the battle.
That is real.
Yes. It's real. So I'm just like, I've never taken jazz lessons. I'm not a jazz singer. I wouldn't be as bold to say that. But at the same time, I am.
You certainly are. You are. Yeah, I mean,
because I want to be, and I want to find that voice and somehow, intertwine and bring these genres together for myself. So we'll see. This time is an interesting time. There are no rules.
None.
I feel like there are no rules, and at this point, we're surviving. Number one.
Yes.
But also, this is the time to just do what you love and what makes you feel good.
What makes you feel good? Yes.
And bring wholeness back.
Yeah. Exactly. And then that will bring the people. You create it, you build it, and the people will come, right? You know, and it's hard for, I think, people who run the industry to understand that, because they're dealing with the black or white. They're dealing with, can we afford, do we have the money to do this, and can we afford to do it? And if it doesn't work, will we be able to do, you know, will we survive? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There is that thing, and the beauty, and we talked about this briefly before. I talked about the difference between 2008 crisis and Corona, right? And how
you were having an amazing year during that year, right? 2008.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
So, no. I cut you off, but I just wanted to know more about that.
No, I was, you know, had made my Met debut, and things were coming up, and, you know, I was doing my thing, and I just finished the program at Adler Fellowship in San Francisco, and, you know, and I was traveling, and I had, you know, a European agent, like all this, you know, all the stuff, right? The thing that we call the career. And then 2008 hit, and everything just kind of fell apart. You know, the whole industry just imploded, you know, with the financial crisis. And so many of the singers in my generation, you know, the ones of us who are still doing it, I mean, we're not even old. We're just getting into the juicy.
You're in your prime, girl.
Exactly, the juicy part, the juicy, you know,
yes,
for sopranos, you know, and everything. And but you know, 10 years ago, it was difficult. It was incredibly difficult, and no one could tell you how to come from that and come out of that. And I mean, companies were closing, symphonies were closing, and I talk a lot about having like pending contracts done. Like that was just dust, you know, and things that, you know, I had, and I had just got married the year before.
Wow,
you know,
that was a lot.
It was a lot. And I mean, I'm thankful that I had my husband, you know.
Yes.
You know, moved from Philly back to California after after I left the Adler Fellowship. And you know how it is leaving a program. You're like, I'm never gonna be a young, you know, student again. It's just it's rough. It's hard.
Rough.
The big programs, you know, being in it's, you know, being a young artist it has its benefits, but also, you know, it's always like a cat in a cage where you're like, you can see the outside world, and, you know, and you're right at the end of the program, and you just want to burst out, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was so when I bursted out, you know, I bursted out and was working, and then all of a sudden the bottom fell out. But, you know, the difference between, I think, now and then is that so much creativity is allowed, and there are no rules, and there are no boxes, and you can create a whole vision for how you want to be seen in the world, you know, and it will be accepted. You have social media, you have all of these platforms, you know.
Technology has really changed the game.
It has really changed the game. And, you know, let's be real. Like, if you have a certain amount of Instagram followers or social media followers, companies pay attention to that because they see that as butts and seats. And, you know, it makes a difference. Where 2008, no one knew. You just didn't know, you know. So then if you stayed around until 2010, 11, and you still sang halfway decent, and you still look kind of cute, you know, people hired you, you know what I mean? And so
wow,
us have really survived, you know, and I'm not even that old, but so when we're in this time now, a lot of, you know, singers of my generation are like, well, just keep singing, keep vocalizing, at least keep vocalizing, you know what I mean?
Wow, that's tough. And I really agree with you in that we have technology now that just gives us so much more possibility, I think. So the beauty is that you are still here, and you're still all the way down.
I'm a survivor. Yes, come on, Beyonce of opera. Come on, give it to. We got some questions. The kids are living for us.
Oh,
here, yeah, I can't.
Oh my gosh, so many comments.
Yes, did you see? Can you read some? Because I can't read them on my Be Live.
Okay.
You want to answer some?
Let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to go to all the comments. So I'm on my laptop, and I just opened up another.
Yes, I guess I could do that too, right?
But for some reason, it's not showing all of the comments, which is strange.
Yeah. Okay. Y'all all know I am new to this platform doing this whole thing, so don't kill me. I love y'all.
Hey, so you can't see any of the questions at the comment?
You can't? Okay. Arnold Ross, getting to the juicy part of your career. Honey, let's let it flow. As Tony Braxton says, let it flow.
Yes. Let it flow. Oh, there's so many people on. Yeah, sadly, I can't see a lot of questions.
Oh, Ben, my beautiful Ben, Ben Newman. What's the hardest part of the transition from young artist to full-time pro?
That's a great question.
It is.
Well, I mean, I have to say, I think everybody's experience is different. My experience, I feel like I was very blessed and lucky in a way, because I just started working basically right away. But I started doing, I did a lot of international competitions.
Yes.
And that was something that I did for myself because I was recommended to do them. And I saw from previous singers that were kind of doing the thing that they got a lot, they got their starts from competitions.
Yes, that's the American way. Exactly. That's the way. I mean, so many people.
Yeah, and I mean, they do garner very high visibility from opera companies and agents and managers. So I did a few of those that kind of got my name out there. And the thing is, I didn't actually win any of them. Well, I won one of them. Yes, in Spain, but the other ones I didn't win. But my name was out there. People, heard me and saw me. And so then the gigs started slowly rolling in. But I would say the hardest part was just not, the uncertainty, not necessarily knowing how you're going to pay for your life.
Yeah.
Not something that is unique to the transition from being young artist to like we deal with that.
Yeah.
Freelance artists, but
of course.
Also, I think confidence, it's like, okay, now you don't have this umbrella and cushion of the title of being a young artist.
Right.
It's like, okay, we're out here now. We are out here.
Oh yeah. That first time you have to write that check for your voice teacher, you're like,
oh my God, it hurt.
Oh, your coach, you're like, what? Wait, what? I have to write
exactly. But that's the real world.
That's the right. I mean, for me, I found that the hardest part was finding my voice, and not finding my voice, finding my voice.
Ooh,
finding of like what I wanted to say and how I wanted to say it.
Wow.
Yeah. And I struggled with that for 5 years. The first 5 years of being out, maybe 5 years. I'm not gonna lie.
And why do you think that is?
Because I was such a good student. I listened to everything, and I took a lot of stuff in, and I always wanted to be better, and I always wanted to be right, and not right, good. You know what I mean? And I always wanted to. I guess it comes from being a kid, wanting to never get in trouble. I didn't get in trouble a lot as a kid because I always wanted to please my parents and please my dad particularly, and that they spilled into my whole life, and always wanting to not please, but just to be right, to be good, to be like, okay, Karen, you're fine.
Make them proud. Yeah.
And so when I got out there and I was like, oh, now I'm out here and there's no one telling me, okay, lift your palette, do this, do all of these things, micromanaging. It was like, oh, now. And then things that my soul was like, no, we're not going to do that. We want to do this. But my mind was like, oh, no, I have to do it this way, and,
wow.
So I'm sorry.
We get into a pattern, a people-pleasing pattern.
Yeah.
And that's just something that my manager told me when we first signed. He said, one of the first things he said, Janae, I just want to let you know, excuse me, that we are not in the people-pleasing business. No is a complete sentence.
Yeah.
And for me, and I think most of us, that is really, really difficult.
It is.
Because you say no to something like a job offer or just having to stand up for yourself or something. And it's like, well, maybe I blew it with this company, or maybe I blew it with this conductor, or maybe they're not going to pay me as much as I'm asking, or something like that. So it's definitely, I understand that for sure.
Yeah. It's a challenge, especially when you like when you come from school, you come from young artist program and they're feeding you constantly.
Yeah.
And then you've got to go out in the world and yes, feed other people, feed your soul, feed the audience, feed the conductor. You know what I mean? Like all of these things you have to do, and you're like, oh shoot, what do I use? Are you salt and pepper and seasoned salt, oil? Like how much I have to use to create and cook this thing?
That's good.
It's like Curtis, where you are so taken care of.
So taken.
You know.
Yeah.
So taken care of, and I was there for 6 years. So it's like that. I want to say coddling because that's not the right word. That I
mean, it's like no, they really. It's like you get that individual care and attention.
Yes.
That it's not necessarily there. Once you become a professional. I mean, you can pay for it.
But you can pay for it.
And at the end of the day, I feel like we have to, as artists, just take the leap, because we have, if we're continually spoon-fed, then we're not finding our own voice. We're not finding how we want to interpret and what we want to say necessarily. And so I coach a lot of my roles, like the bigger roles, I coach pretty intensely, but then during that process, I back up and I say, okay, what would Janae say?
Yeah.
Ooh, excuse me.
No, that's okay.
Not COVID. Wrong too. Let me grab some water. Sorry.
Oh, go for it. No.
Pausa.
Pausa. Okay, let's look at some of these questions. Thank you, Ben, for that wonderful question. Thank you, Ronald Campbell, always supporting us singers from Philadelphia. Hey, Patrick, good evening. Yes, Laquita. Oh, you won't be on here, Laquita. Quee, eventually. Thank you, Willie. Thank you, Ben. Love you, Crystal E. Williams. Yes, yes, honey, we love her.
Yes, we do.
Veronica. Yes, Veronica Williams is a fantastic mezzo-soprano.
Okay.
From Austin. Yes, I met her down there. I think I met her when I was doing AIDA down there in Austin. And she asked, what did you both experience when you first sang on the Met stage? Oh, that's a good answer. I want to hear about Akhenaten. Yes. Because my experience was absolutely crazy.
Really? Oh my God. We'll save yours for later, because mine is a bit more straightforward. But so I'll back up and say the first day that I had rehearsal at the Met, I walked through the backstage door and I looked at my phone and I got the news that our Jesse Norman passed away. So that was my first day of rehearsal. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I just had so many emotions going through me. But at the same time, I felt like she was with me, and in a way it felt like, okay, it's your turn, So I will forever remember that moment. But stepping onto that stage for the first time, I just, like, my whole body like welled up and I just wept, honestly. Because just to think about like all of the greats that have graced that stage, it's like it was a very surreal moment. Of course. I remember as a student at MSM going to the Met and sitting in the nosebleeds, and thinking like, I want to be on that stage one day. So the fact that 10 years later it happened, it was just I still get emotional because
Yeah.
it's the pinnacle,
Mm-hmm.
creme de la creme.
Exactly. It's
So
like, it's like winning the Super Bowl, right? Or winning like the
winning the lotto,
NBA. Yeah, like
yeah,
such a small percentage of people that do what we do get the chance to step on the greatest stages of the world, particularly as an American, the greatest stage in the world for us, is the
yeah.
Metropolitan. So
Mm,
you're in that small percentage, and when you get there, particularly with all of the obstacles and things that you have to deal with before you even get
yeah.
and you're like, I mean, even for that moment of when you're like, holy, okay, this is, we can cuss a little bit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Like, I'm here. And then you have to okay, I did ask for this, right? Like I can't turn around and go out of the, backseat. I don't know if you've had that moment where you're like,
No, but there was definitely that moment where I was like, wait, am I actually supposed to be here? Like me? I don't know if they hired the right person for this. So that self-doubt just crept in as well.
yeah, that's
Um,
real. That's
which
real.
still happens, I don't know if it'll ever go away, but
No, I guess when it goes away, then you start, it's not
yeah, it's
being
like,
human, not performing as well. And,
mm,
I don't, each his
yeah,
own.
I think so too. But it's a moment that for me, I just will carry with me forever. And debuting in Akhenaten was interesting because it's an opera that isn't familiar to most people. Um,
Yes.
but I think it featured me in just the right way. Like I wasn't coming in there singing Carmen because that would have really freaked me out. It's just
Of
like
course. Yeah.
people
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
so many preconceived notions about how that role is supposed to be.
Of
Uh,
course.
I appreciated the fact that I entered that way. So yeah, I mean, you know how it is. It's just like a very surreal moment. But at the same time, I'm just like, okay, I'm here. Like, I want to do this more. Like,
Right. Right.
I'm
Right. You
ready.
get on the stage, you're like, wait a minute.
Mhm.
you know.
And just settle in. And that acoustic, oh my gosh, it's the
Yeah.
best. It's just the
Yeah.
best.
It's a tremendous place. And thank you, God, for
Yes. Thank you.
blessing of being able to see a dream come true, right?
Absolutely. What can you tell us about your story?
I was trying to get away from that, but
Oh,
no. So
Miller?
many people know, but I was covering in Louisa Miller,
Yeah. Okay.
and I got a chance to go on, and this was 2 years after I was in the Met Finals, and I didn't win the Met Finals. Shout out to all the Met finalists.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Everybody remembers the Met winners, but the finalists, woo! Shout out to everybody who's
The finalists, you sang on that stage, okay?
true. Some of the semis, I mean, some of the people who don't even make it past districts or first rounds of people who are out here doing the thing. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
we have to celebrate every level. We have to celebrate every level. But
Absolutely.
yeah, I celebrate every level. And
And just a side note, just because you don't make it to the finals or semifinals doesn't mean a lot. I mean, I can say that as someone that never really made the finals. Like it's I don't even know really how to articulate it, but basically just because you don't win doesn't mean that you don't win in the grand scheme of life,
the grand scheme of exactly.
and the grand scheme of the career. It's a moment in time, and I think as long as you keep going at it and really love what you're doing, your time will come.
It will. It will. It will find. It always finds you. This thing always
Yeah,
finds you. Walk away from it and put it down. But if it's for you, it will. It will hunt you down, and then you got to figure out how to make it work.
exactly.
And I mean,
But that's amazing that you went on. I mean, that's like every cover's dream.
yeah, to go on, I mean, I was fresh out of an Adler fellowship. I didn't win my year, and 2 years later I was singing on the stage. And it took me a long time to get back there. And that's another thing, is that I didn't know if I was going to get to come back. I still don't know if I'm going to get to go back and sing on that stage. I mean, just all you can do is do your best and what your personal best is, and everything else is out of your control. And that's what I wish I would have embraced earlier on, is more. And not that I was ever like a nervous singer, or I always just sang because I loved it. I always sang from a place of loving to share.
I hear that every time you sing.
Yeah, like I wish I could have gone back. I would never want to go back, but I'm saying if I had to do it over again, I would think more like a business. I would think more like I'd be a little more strategic. I would have saved all those hundreds of thousands of competition dollars that I won. I was very successful.
Me too.
I won a lot of money, but I wish that somebody would have said, put that money away and take your friends out to fancy dinners, because some of y'all got some fancy dinners and some nice gifts on my competition money on these courts. But
it's, girl, I know. And now this whole pandemic has definitely kind of put me into perspective. Saving is very important. And when you get, as a freelance opera singer, you get these checks and they seem like a lot of money. And sometimes they are a lot of money.
Yes.
But that doesn't account for paying your manager, your publicist if you have one, taxes, the rent that you're paying when you're on the road, staying in the temporary housing, and then rent or mortgage if you have wherever you live. So, I wish that they taught us these things in school.
Yeah, I know. But like 50%, the money that they put on the paper is never the real thing. It's never the real thing. And just trust that 50% of that number does not belong to you.
Right.
You know? And that's real. Sometimes it could be more.
Very real. Very, very, very real. So that's something they don't teach you. And going back to the question about what's the hardest part from transitioning from young artist to professional, just managing, like simply managing money.
Okay.
To learn about it. I mean, I've had some people in my life that have really helped me.
Yes.
But it's still a challenge because I like to buy gowns and like to buy things and go out to eat. But
and when you're at a certain level, the expectation of what people want to see when you go out, how you live your life, how you manage your social media, all of those things, it costs. It costs to be the boss,
I love that. Well, it's very true. So, but this is life, and we live and we learn.
Yeah.
And hopefully apply.
Yes, absolutely. Let's see. Russell, you can't get a meal now from some of them. Amen, brother.
From
Amen.
what? You can't get a meal?
You can't get a meal from some of them now. Listen, Russell, every time I see him, he always puts the bill down. I don't know. Am I gonna keep
Russell, where you at? Where you at, Russell?
Yes.
You should have Russell on here. He's so cool and interesting.
Who?
You should interview Russell.
Russell?
Yes, you should have him on Kiki Convo.
Oh yeah. Yes. I had to get my homegirl on here first. I had to get you.
Oh,
a little ladybug. I used to call you all the time, ladybug.
And I really appreciate you doing this, because people, they see us from the outside, and with the makeup and the hair and the performances, and as the brand that we put out there. And I think it's good to just give people a little bit of inside scoop, because and this is something that I've been thinking about a lot during this isolation, is that I really miss performing, and I miss being on the stage, and I think we're all just a little bit down naturally, but we have to realize that while singing is part of who we are and what we're so passionate about, it doesn't actually define who we are.
No.
And I think it's just a really difficult idea to grapple with because we put so much of ourselves into this every day.
Every day.
It's such a specialized thing that requires so much of our being and our time and our lives and our souls.
Yes.
And our bodies, it's such a thing. So it's hard sometimes to separate just kind of ourselves from what we do for a living.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Because we are.
Talk about that. I want you to talk about that.
I mean, it's difficult, I think, especially for singers, because we literally are our instruments. Like, our voice is a part of us. So when people say, oh, singers are so difficult, they're so sensitive, it would be like putting a piano out in Houston. The humidity is going to affect it. It's going to affect the sound.
Yes.
It's whatever, so I sometimes get offended by that because it's like, yes, we are sensitive because we have to be. We have to make you feel. And in order to do that, we have to feel.
Yeah.
But at the same time, boundaries is something that I've really been paying attention to and focusing on in my life. Just because of like losses of friends and romantic relationships and stuff like that. Like, we have to do the work. We can't control anybody. We can't control anybody but ourselves. Exactly. So I feel like with singing, while it is so much a part of us, we have to be able to have boundaries with it. And say, okay, I'm going to put this aside and for now, and tell myself that this is a role that I'm singing. It's not, we're not saving lives. Well, we might be saving some souls, but which is important, but we will be okay. Like, we're going to survive.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's still something that I'm grappling with and thinking about every day. And it actually helps me to navigate myself, like in the world, but also just like on a job, because singers can be very temperamental. There's so many different personalities, which is beautiful.
Yes, absolutely.
But it can be difficult to manage. And so for me, what really helps is just telling myself, like, that's Carmen, not Janae. I have to put myself into it, but like, when I come out of the rehearsal room, I need to come back to earth.
True. It's true. Yeah, you can't carry that with you, right? Because it is an awful burden. It's a burden too,
It is.
Living these roles and living your life. And I mean, sometimes you want to take that knife and be like, yeah.
Oh,
I got what I mean? Like, no, like, calm down. I
love it. But again, you love singers, and I think this is why we love singers, because we're so dynamic and we feel so deeply, and our dramatic can be and all the things, but
it's true.
I just think that life requires boundaries in every and we have to have boundaries for ourselves, and we have to decide like what our boundaries are. Absolutely. And so I have created boundaries in every relationship, familial, platonic, with my manager, my voice teacher. Like, I don't voice them, but I made them for myself. Otherwise, I think that, life can just eat you up.
It can. It really can. And then there's just you. It's like, and then there's just you. It can eat you up. You can let all these things come at you and just take pieces. But in the end, there's just you. And you have to look out for you, and you have to protect you, and you have to, it's like, the chorus gets so lucky because they get to sing with like other people. As a soloist, there's just you. There's just you alone in hotel room and the, you
Yeah.
know, extended stay. There's just you on that stage singing the hardest arias of, you know,
Like
of
you
your
give
life.
me everything, and then you come back to a whole room, and it's just you, a hotel
Just
room.
you.
It's just you.
Exactly. And then in your
So
family, there's just you because no one understands the career except you. So you could be carrying the weight of all these things, and then everybody has the expectation of all the things that they want from you. And then there's just you.
it's true. And then, for instance, dealing with the hot messness that I've been dealing with all day,
Yes. Is it
person
still popping
seeing
up on
things,
Insta?
and like I think that I would like to believe that I carry myself in such a way that people won't believe these hateful words, but at the same time, like we are out there like that, where people
Yeah.
can come out of nowhere and attack.
Right, like never read the comments, but when you do, you're like, oh my God, like you know, I love pop culture. We love
Yeah,
pop culture, you know, and when you read the comments of it, and I'm like on YouTube or, you know, all the social media, and I'm like, who are these hideous people? Like, you don't even know, you know, you don't know the sacrifices and the price that people have to pay to do this thing. And not that you ever want someone to feel bad for you, but you just want a little humanity, you know, to come in sometimes. And
yeah. So I truly believe that doing the self work will just like trump. I hate to use this word, but trump everything.
right, you get a pass for that. That's
Okay, thank
okay.
you. So
So
yeah,
tell me a little bit about your dreams. Like what is outside of the singing, you know,
mhm,
you know, because I know we talked a little bit earlier about you being so disappointed that the Carmen and Dutch
yeah,
National and then the Dalila, you know, after
at Washington
in
National.
Washington, you know, congratulations for your amazing
Oh,
reviews on that. And I was so disappointed, you know, Kenny and I and
you were
Chauncey,
coming.
we were all gonna come, you know.
I
And I
know. I was so
but
excited too that you all were
yeah.
coming.
But so like what is your like what are your dreams? What are some of your dreams? Like your personal
Yeah. Well,
dreams?
I mean, singing has just been like revolved, or been the revolving factor in my life. So I've been very focused with that and having specific goals with singing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but this isolation period has definitely had me thinking about other aspects of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Before singing and everything, I really enjoyed psychology, and I still do. I find it very interesting that we can think in so many different ways and people feel in so many different ways and
Mm-hmm.
love in so many different ways and communicate in
Yeah.
different ways. I think it's just very interesting. So I somehow would love to combine my music with therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was in high school, I used to go to nursing homes and play the piano and sing for the elderly, and they,
Oh,
just brought so much joy in life, actually.
yeah.
So therapy is something that I want to just like delve into. Uh,
You'd be great at that. Your spirit and your
yeah, wow,
resolve and you know, yeah.
thank you. But it's really interesting because um, I've just been dealing with this drama all day, and it's not the first time that it's happened. And I hope that it will be, but I don't know if it will be the last.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I've been thinking about myself and just like, what is it that I'm doing or like giving off that attracts crazy people? And I'm really actually interested in the psychology of it.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, I'm sure it could just boil down to like people being intimidated, jealous, whatever. But
Yeah.
I think that everybody just needs to be loved at the end of the day
Yeah.
and feel like they're worthy.
Mm.
And so I've just been having ideas of like, I don't know, somehow involving my music with therapy. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what capacity.
Yeah, well, you're already sort of doing that anyway, because when people come to the theater to see us,
Very
they are
quick.
informed. You know how it is. You go to a live theater. You
Oh
go and you
yes.
feel one way, and then you come out and you're like, I mean, sometimes you're like, did I just? But for the most part, you know, we are
the burden lifted for the most part.
Yes. Do you often go to symphony, of course, but do you go to like theater, like theater and dance
I do.
and other genres of the art?
Something that my very first voice teacher said to me, which was who was Hilda Harris.
Yes,
Hilda. Black mezzo to perform a panto at the Met. My very first voice teacher at MSM, and she told me, go and hear every genre of music, every instrument. Don't just go and listen to opera and classical singing. So I heeded her advice, and I just like threw myself into everything, and I became obsessed with going to theater and ballet. And I think I've been to every Beyonce concert.
Yes, me too. I've seen her 3 times.
Oh,
yes. I know some of y'all gonna hate, but okay, we don't care. Whatever.
We that, I mean, speaking of goals, one of my goals is definitely to collaborate with her.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I love her so much. So, and it's cross collaborating with genres, you know, people, they love what we do, and what we do is so special. And I just think that we have so much to offer, and we're often just sidelined. Like even at the Grammys, the Classical Music Awards, they're never on the main
never.
And it's just
show, right.
And it's like, but that's crazy to me. So
I know, like everybody in the world needed to see like Joyce's sick, like her when she walks on and she had this like sick outfit on. I think it was last year. I was like, everybody in the world needs to see that. Okay,
everyone.
Her outfit.
That's one of my goals, is just to like bring opera to the people, like everybody. Popular platforms.
It used to be. It used to be.
No, it did. And did you see the Pavarotti documentary?
Yes, I did. On the plane, I saw it. I know, right?
This man. I was so inspired by that.
Yeah, absolutely.
To another level, and it's like people love opera. They do.
They do. I know when they find out you sing, everyone wants to know everything about you, right?
Exactly. So it's like, okay, what can we do with this? We have the freedom to make the rules.
Absolutely.
So yeah, doing that, and then just like also I'm very passionate about working out. It's just the athlete in me. So I'm also I want to figure out ways in which to bring that into my just my brand, I guess. I think that opera houses should offer movement. Classes or courses or something. Because we're on that stage moving. It's no longer the day and age of Park and Park.
No, that's been long gone.
Yeah. So, you know.
And I think singers don't get the benefit of the doubt anymore. No matter what your body size is, your body type is, singers are really doing the thing. Like they're really creating real art and being able to move and be flexible. Like you can't have sustain a career now if you can't get up and down off the floor and move and make a beautiful line and be, you know, and look good in a costume and all these
on your back and
and hang off the stage like Anna Netrebko and sing like some of the most glorious lines. I never forget when she was singing, I think it was Lucia at the Met, several years ago, like on her back, hanging off the stage. I'm like, well, you just gonna do it like that, huh?
Okay.
bar, you know.
Yeah. Wow.
And so,
it's
but I agree. But like, it should be a part of you know what's offered in an opera house, that if you go, that you're able to have, if you want to have sessions, you know, like in Europe, you know, there's so much access to things, in America it would be nice to have that if that's what you wanted.
Yeah, but I truly believe that we should have the option. So yeah, I mean, with the psychology and the sports background and just like cross genre collaboration, bringing opera to everybody, which I know a lot of my friends and colleagues are very adamant about. I think we just got to do it.
Because we need butts and seats, we need audiences, we need people to to support us financially and also support us by being our cheerleaders, like all of these things. It is up to us to grow our audiences, right?
Absolutely.
It is up to us, not the company. Yes, the companies can do their thing also, but it is really up to us to, in this modern age, now, is to let the people know that we are real people. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to start this Kiki Conversations, is so that people could know that artists, and not just opera singers, but I want to have more of my friends and colleagues, the people who I love, so that they can show the world that they are more than your gift,
Wow.
and to have artists, start to talk about different dreams and aspirations and things, and you got to talk about it, to dig it up, to put to have it come out. So often talk and you're like, oh my God, I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah, exactly. No, this is very liberating and has me just thinking of things simply by you prompting the questions, and I think it's helpful for everybody because people often have questions, like how does this career work? What is this art form? And I think that this is a really good time for us to be able to reinvent it, and reinvent ourselves, and reinvent the art form while keeping the dignity,
absolutely,
of the music, and
because I don't believe in dumbing it down. Some people, I don't believe in that. We are great. We are a great art form. We are the one art form that combines all of the art forms: dance, voice, orchestral, art. I froze. Arts, building this, people have to build the set, people have to live the bread. It's the creative writing. Like, we are the thing, the top of the pyramid in that way. So I do believe we can be as big and bold and grand and relatable and accessible.
Yes, and
you can do both.
Yes, and one of my goals is to just bring the grandness back without it feeling like limited to only a certain demographic, But opera house is literally like the Super Bowl. I mean, not necessarily all the time, but what I mean is this is an event, like, and
it's an event.
I think,
and it's glorious. And then, some people come in jeans at the Met, and you're like, yes, I'm at the event. And I mean, it's like church. Come as you are. Yeah, exactly. Come as you are. Be in the space. Let's commune. Let's enjoy this beautiful thing, and then we go off into our, world and do whatever. But anyway, we have been on over an hour.
And we kind of flown. Thank you.
Yes, it has.
This has been awesome.
Thank you for agreeing.
And the fact that we need this. We need you. This is something that I think
I need it. It's good for me too. It's it forces me out of thinking that I have to sit in front of a camera and sing my song. But
we will take some of that too, though.
Yeah, it's gonna come, and I'll do it. I've just been a little bit like, I don't know.
I know.
It's not that I've not been inspired to sing, because I do have a couple songs on my heart, but I
know what you mean. Well, if you feel inspired and led to do it, then you should, and if you don't, then don't.
Yeah, I will. I'll get around to it. I would miss the collaboration of. I love them, and that's my dream. For me, my dream, but my singing dream is to do more recital, more concert, and I love opera. I mean, it's my passion. It's the thing that drew me to this world. Opera. But the intimacy of concert is just nothing like it. It's nothing like it. you know, and I've gotten the fortune, I push myself to do at least 3 recitals a year, you know, and sometimes I have holes in my schedule where I'm forced to fill them up because I have to keep singing, you know what I mean? And
Right.
I just enjoy that. And even with the intimacy of concert with orchestra and maestro orchestra and just, you know, and it's not a, oh, it's because it's just me type of thing, or I don't have to share the stage. No, it's more the collaboration that I enjoy. So yeah.
Well,
We'll
2020,
see.
you can do that. That's what you want.
Exactly. But anyway, thank you. I love you.
Thank you. I love you too. Oh my God, this is so fun. One last cheers.
One last cheers. Cheers to what are we cheersing to? What are we cheersing to?
Cheersing to liberty, freedom, love, and taking our own lives and careers into our own hands, making it what we want.
Yes, exactly. Making it. That's okay. You know, you're almost down to the bottom of your glass, so it's all good.
I am, and I haven't eaten, so and I'm a lightweight. Cheers.
Yes.
Oh.
Thank you guys for joining us, and look out for the next Kiki Konversations. I don't know, maybe next Thursday, maybe Wednesday. Maybe you guys will put in my inbox who you want to see. And I'm not just gonna be opera singers. Of course, I'm gonna call on my opera folks, all my peeps. But I love you all. Thank you for all your wonderful comments and questions. Maybe Janae can answer some questions in the comments. Yeah. Thank you. I'm so nervous now.
This was so awesome. Love you much.
I love you. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.